This quad, the front is all broken. See the bumper, this is the original tubing. That's absolute garbage. And I welded these plates to it, and then it broke in the weak spot, so I should have just got new metal there. And this right now is the only thing holding it on. Everything under here is just a big broken mess. And it makes the quad kind of impossible to use because the whole front end's just falling down. So what I need to do is lift it up and then weld everything back together down there and see if I can make it, brace it up so it's stronger. So the chain fell out of that thing, so I gotta put the chain back in there in order to use it. I can't really adjust it very well. This chain's gotta go up in there. This is a tire chain tool. So I use that to open it. So it's basically a way to make a homemade link connector. And then I can open that. And I can close it with this tool as well. Around where I need to. And then I can just weld it back together. So I don't think anyone else has invented that. I think I invented that. I cleaned the shop yesterday. I got some stuff out of here. Well, not a lot, but just project I didn't finish. So you can put that in there. And you can do pretty much whatever you need to with this tool, so. That's a small link, so it's kind of stretched a bit. Actually, I shortened this chain, and I did that, and I didn't weld it. And then a tractor caught it, just ever so slightly, and pulled it apart. It's galvanized, so I don't want to breathe that. Kind of a crappy welder. It works, but mostly it works very poorly. But it is working, and that's what I need. Sometimes it doesn't work, though. that's about the way it should sit. First thing I need to do is weld a nut on that spot. Not much room to work under here, so that kind of sucks, but. So I'll weld a big nut there, and really weld it on there as much as I can, because I welded something on there before and it just broke, fell off. And then I'll do the same thing to the other side. We'll weld a nut on there, and then it's like that's the frame right there, and that's bent. Stupid design. These newer quads are trash. They make them lighter, but their tubing is just garbage. It's way too thin. The only way to fix this is to take the whole thing apart, because there's no room to weld anything in there. Okay, so this is a thin piece of metal and there's thicker sheet metal back here. So I want to cut this out of there. So I don't know why, but I didn't do a very good job filming and explaining what I was doing. So I'm welding the old pieces that were on there. So when I did the job the first time, I left some of the stock tubing there. So I'm welding that back onto the bumper, and then I end up taking this off and then strengthening it. So I got this piece of metal here. That's nice and strong. That's not gonna do anything. I think this is what my uncle used to do because he never had a vise on this table, and this was always his welding table. So I think he just did this all the time. He used to clamp. See, I save stuff like that, because these angles might be useful for something. So, I'll keep these. This hook could also be useful for something. See, when you use these cutting discs, lots of people go fast and they just wear the disc down right away. So what you do, you kind of eyeball it. And then you go really nice and really light and slow. And then you make yourself a track for the disc to go in. And then you go back and forth, and then you just kind of start cutting it. And then, if you eyeball it, and that's how I can get pretty straight cuts. So I think I'm actually really good with one of these. I've seen lots of other people that they don't cut nearly as good. But, if you take a little longer, you can get really nice cuts with these. And these are the cheap discs, too. See, now I got a track. There's a track there for the disc to go in, and now I'll just kind of work it through slowly. So I got that clamped on there pretty good. And, it isn't very straight, but where I cut that plate inside, there's no really room to put. Those angle irons aren't very straight, but there's no other way to do it. So I'll just drill new holes. And I'll cut that off. And then I think I'll continue the steel plate down right to the bottom. And then this plastic thing, I might not even need that on there anymore. I might just cut it off. Find a good place to cut it off. I think there is a good place. Hack it off there. And then that's how I'll fix it. So I'll cut that off, and then I'll put a new hole back here somewhere. And I don't think that'll break again after that. It isn't. Other people will probably fix it differently than this, but I don't like how crooked everything is, but it's really not the best, but better than it was. That's for sure. There's lots of flat surface to weld it on, so I might be able to straighten it after it's tack welded. See the tack weld on this side here. Tack weld broke there. I'll fix that. I'll tack weld everything, and then I'll take it off and start welding it strong. And then I need to put some braces in here, so I'll have a brace in there, maybe one up there or something. So I'll take it off, and then we'll put some braces everywhere to make it stronger. I was just looking in a box of little steel plates, and I just found 2 of these. And I shaved these, I cut these off for something else. I knew I would use them for something, and look at what I'm doing. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to use these on there, so. I found these, let's grind them down, and I'm going to try to use these. These almost fit, but they have to be trimmed a little bit. Okay, now I need to drill the holes. I'm going to weld a plate on the bottom of those green things, but it's easier if I drill a hole now, because those, see, I'm going to chop these off, and they're going to stick out, so if I drill the plate, if I do the plate first, it's not going to work right, so let's put it on there, and I'll mark where I want the holes to go. It's like a 65-year-old drill. Still works good, it just needs a new cord. Like, half the thing is taped and the other half, the rubber is just broken everywhere. So, this is a really good drill, but it just needs a new cord. What I really like about these old ones that they don't do on the new ones is this is all aluminum. Not some garbage plastic that breaks. A good example of that is this thing is only about 3 years old. It's a Princess Auto drill. And you see this thing here is very thin. Cast aluminum. And this is all plastic. And this handle broke. That handle just completely smashed. And it's broken all up here too. All around there is broken. Even the birds hate it. And this one worked. Oh, it still turns even. But the motor blew in there. I don't know why. So, see, there's like cracks all over it. The motor blew in this one, I don't know why. But I kept it because the chucks are useful. That's a good chuck on there. So that's why I'm keeping this drill. Drill bit is a little bit dull. I should get a drill bit sharpening machine, but sometimes you can touch these things up with the grinder. So you just get the grinder, and if you do the angle just right, you can get them sharp again. But it's not the right way to do it. Sometimes you can lose your center of the drill bit, and then it won't center very well. end of a folded pipe here. So this is pipe tubing, and along here it's actually two pieces squished together. So I'm going to weld that. Now I'm gonna do some welds here. I gotta grind off, and then do a little other grinding. And then I'm gonna find a steel plate to go on here. the other quad, I made an angle piece that went in here. I want to do the same thing to this one. This is what it looks like now. So I added a bunch of stuff. So we got these things, the triangles in there, and these angle irons in the plate. And that looks good. And these, I may adjust those later. I may bend them backward or side or whatever. So I'll paint it again. Pretty much the same, just a little longer. Look what came for a visit. A little pet fox. There's a wild fox. Look at this little puffy. A little puffball. Oh, you're cute. I'm gonna pat you. You're cute. Here's a little foxtail. She doesn't usually come here to visit me. That's pretty rare. I heard her meow. I wasn't even looking this way. I just heard her meow. Here's foxtail. So fluffy. That's a fluffy little kitty. I guess because she's cold. And she's all puffy. You look funny. You're smelling the camera. Funny little cat. Now she's walking away. This thing has different settings, so I have it on a lower setting. Because if this was on the full setting, it would probably break that. That's how strong it is. You see how that little thing there is bent backwards? I'm going to try to pull it forward again. Normally you don't want to use one of these impacts to start the threads, but if you do it right, it won't strip it. Make sure this light actually works. Yeah, they both work. See, the plug on this one, there's a little plastic clip that holds it on, and the clip is broke off the actual light, so the plug sometimes wants to just fall out, but I guess if it stays in there, it stays in there, right? So that looks way better than it was. It was so broken before. Now the headlights are there, and see this one was very loose, and now it's nice and tight. This was in there. I just tucked it under there and it would stay there for a while. But then somehow it would always end up falling out, so. I need something to hold it in there so it doesn't fall out. So I'll see if I can drill a hole there and put a bolt through there or something. best, but it's better now. That stuff won't get in there. Now it's set right there. I welded that up. Made it a lot stronger, I think. I did some welding on that side too. Make sure it won't break again. But I should have done this stronger. That material was too thin. But I was still learning how to weld it. I haven't been welding for that long, but now I consider myself almost a master at welding. I think I got this side pretty straight. And I would touch it up with paint, but I don't have any. That can's empty. What are the dogs doing? What? Buck. Play. How's it going? there was a couple of random pieces that broke off on this side and the other side. So I was able to use a little plastic thing from them. So I robbed that one's broken, so I robbed plastic things from them. These, I can't really put those back on there and make it work, and they don't really matter. So these are garbage. But there's lots of little other things I could do to the fenders. And I found an extra plastic thing, and I actually took one of the bolts out here. Because the plastic's what's supposed to be in there, the bolts. You know, I want to keep them for other stuff because we don't have a lot of them. I have to buy more anyway. So we had a box of staple guns, and I was using this electric one for a while, and then it quit for no reason, and it was dead. And I couldn't get any of the others to work, so I just ended up using screws. Here's the finished product. It's terrible. Some of these screws, there's a bump on the top, so they're not that sharp. Most of the sharp ones are at the edge anyway. They're all at the edge anyway, but this seat's a piece of trash. We're gonna have to spend $300 on a new one eventually. I don't think this is gonna last very long, but that's not too bad. But there's one more problem this thing has. Since I've given it the facelift, see, this brake almost touches that thing, so I need to adjust both of them. Another thing I could do is bang that in, but I'd rather not. I think this is easier. There's a little piece of metal. So they make it so that this thing adjusts that, so now I can't make the brake higher. It's aluminum, so it should be very soft. There, look at that. That's exactly what I wanted. But now it's sheared off. That was pretty easy. And now this thing can be adjusted separately. See, that's sticky enough on there. It's fine. They don't need to do that. Now this will go up any direction they want. It's funny, you wouldn't think breaking something would fix something. But I broke something, and it was very well worth it. Much nicer. Now this thing doesn't hit here. No, I didn't quite design this thing quite right. Because up here, I never noticed that it was going to be close like that, but that's not a problem. That's like a minor issue. Okay, the brakes are adjusted on this. I adjusted the angle, so now they don't bump into this. And this thing's mostly done. I'm pretty happy with how that sheet turned out. And there's one more thing I need to do is, I think I'm going to drill a couple of holes in here for a wire, just like here. And then I'm going to put this light back on. It fell off. Looks just like that one. Now, it's always a good idea to keep a box of random little screws. And a lot of this stuff either came from, like old engines and old machinery. I took the hardware off of it. Or, there's a couple of new things in here. Or there was stuff like carburetors. I think that's a screw off of a carburetor. And there's like old tools. I disassembled there was a bunch of old tools that I tried to fix. I couldn't fix them. And I asked my uncle if I could get rid of them. He said, yeah, they're cheap tools. So I got rid of the tools. I disassembled them. And then I got a bunch of parts like this, little hardware. And then I disassembled them and scrapped them. It's like broken stuff. So that's how you can get good hardware, is old tools, like electric saws and drills and whatever else, stuff like that. You can get good nuts and bolts and washers or whatever it is. What I didn't do when I installed these is I didn't put thread lock on it, so I have some thread lock here. That'll kind of glue it on there, and this time it won't rattle free. There's a good amount of it. And this is not screwing into plastic. Inside the light, it has a little metal threads. Metal threads inside the light, so it's not just screwing into plastic. I think some things, like tools and stuff, they have a bolt that just screws into plastic, but this is metal. Tighten that up, but not too much, so it doesn't strip. There's no threads left in this. At the bottom, there's no threads in it, so that's how it is now. These lights, I think, this thing's gonna rust out eventually. Those lights aren't gonna stay working forever, but they were cheap, so. Still good lights. I think that's on there anyway. That's not gonna go anywhere. chuck is getting old on this drill. It's like a 60-something-year-old drill too. It's a little one. It doesn't have reverse though, so it's only for drilling. It can't really do anything else. There's a hole in the side of it. This drill still works good. The chuck is just worn out though. Like, I have another drill that has a good chuck. It's only 3-year-old. It's only a 3-year-old drill, but it's a piece of junk. Yeah, the motor blew on it, so I might be able to put that chuck on here if it fits right. But if not, I think you can just get a drill chuck replacement, anywhere. But this one is worn out. It doesn't clutch very well. It doesn't grab anything anymore. I think that'll hold. It doesn't look too strong, but... Well, this quad has been pretty much all fixed up now. I would have done a service on it if it needed it, but it had a service, I think, less than a year ago, so it should be fine. I made this chisel. So it's in the middle here, it's a piece of tube, steel, and then at the end it's a chisel. And I welded the end of a big bolt on there. That's a good chisel right there. That'll last a long time before it gets rusted out. And then I used a polishing blade to polish it up. So it's a nice tool now. Well, this quad's ready to be used. It's all fixed up now. Everything, not every single little thing is fixed on it, but all the really annoying stuff is fixed. This thing isn't perfectly centered, but doesn't matter. Yeah, Yeah, so it's got a new seat, and this is adjusted, and everything up here doesn't move one bit. It's all nice and strong now. It's all fixed. That's a nice shiny bumper compared to the thumbnail picture. So comparing the thumbnail picture to this picture, it looks a lot better. So glad I put that on there. So this is all fixed now. You can do it. You can go anywhere with it. No, it doesn't have a winch, but never use a winch anyway. Winches suck anyway. They don't work. On my quad, it's got a nice winch, but it just bogs out and has no power for no reason. So winches are dumb. They don't work. I've heard a few of the neighbors saying the same thing. Winches are just junk. They don't ever work right. But yeah, this is all fixed. You can go pretty well anywhere now with those tires. Well, not anywhere, but it makes it wider because I have to space it out. Cause yeah, that's a good machine now. Also, I stitched this up with wire. That's how you fix cracks like that. That's how to fix it strong. Now, there's nice ways to fix it. This one may not look as good, but this is way stronger. It's pretty well as strong as it would be new. I mean, I would have done it all over here, but I want to be able to take this fender off. You know, that way if there's a problem with the quad, and for whatever reason, if that mount breaks again or whatever, like if the fan goes bad, I want to be able to take this off and then just bolt it and put these tacks back in there. Or if I'm not even working on this and our quad mechanic is working on it, if we take this to him, it's a newer machine. If we take it to him, you know, if it needs to change the fan or something, then it can still be taken apart. But yeah, this thing's all ready to go now for the winter, so I guess that's it for this video.